How are you? It's the Knock On here with Stephen Byrne and Tom Crotty and James Blanchfield this week. Thanks for joining us. It's our weekly rugby podcast on KCLR and Scoreline, as we do every week. We focus on Kilkenny, Carlow and Tullow rugby clubs, and we talk Leinster, Munster, Connacht, Ulster and Ireland and everything beyond as well. Tom, how are you?
I'm not too bad, Stephen. Yourself?
I'm grand, Tom. We're going to get into the nitty-gritty of what happened last weekend. You don't make life easy for yourselves. I'd say the defibrillator was probably broken open at Carlow club the other day after that close call in the Towns Cup. Tullow needed a 3-point win as well, and of course Kilkenny avoided automatic relegation, so they live to fight another day and have some sort of a say in whether they stay in Division 1 this season. We're going to talk about the Ireland team, which was named as well, Tom, a little bit later on as well, the team to play England. A couple of changes on there, so a couple of things to discuss.
Yeah.
And so on, so forth. But first, we're going to hear from James Blanchfield, and he's all the way over in Sweden, believe it or not.
We're very international.
Hello to everyone from a cold and snowy Luleå in northern Sweden. Apologies I can't be on in person this week, guys. Just work commitments has me working away from home this week, and the time differences don't work to make a live broadcast. Just really to review last week's game against Ashbourne. We went into it knowing nothing less than a win would suffice for us. We came out with a win and a bonus point. In fairness to our lads, they really put in a strong middle period of the game, kind of the second 20 and the third 20, or the middle half of the game. They were really super. Everything we touched turned to goal. We had our tempo right. We scored five tries. Everybody worked superbly hard to get the win. We clicked well. A couple of concerns there. I suppose the opening 20 minutes was a dour enough affair. Ashbourne were awarded a dubious try, shall we say, a try that probably if there was an official touch judge would have said was 100% a knock forward. But look, it had no great outcome in the end of the game. The truth be told, we let Ashbourne back into the game in the last 20 minutes. At that stage, though, the outcome was never in doubt. We were pretty much home and hosed by that stage of the game. Huge credit must go to all of the players for it, the squad, the management for the resilience that they showed last weekend to bounce back. And you know, it would have been very easy to roll over and die against an Ashbourne team who were on a rich run of form, in fairness to them. And Ashbourne are a good side. It's understandable given the injuries they had at the start of the season why they were in the position they were in, but they've worked hard to regroup and get themselves up into All-Ireland Junior Cup qualification for next season, so well done to them for that. And from our side, we had, look at everybody performed superbly well. It's difficult to pick anybody in particular out, but if you were to say, like, Ben Devlin had, in my opinion, the best game I've ever seen him play in a Kilkenny jersey. He was super, as was Drew Phelan, who deserves a lot of kudos for his work throughout the season. It's you know, he's not an experienced tight head, but he's packed down there all season long and has never been found wanting for the club. The back row was incredible. Gary Dunn, Dave O'Connor, Roy Stanley, and then Shane O'Riordan, who came off the bench. The four of them all had a brilliant game, as the tight butler when he came in. But up front, special mention must go to Wes Carter, who's been knocking around for a long time with us. But he just brought it. He was just an inspiration to the team last weekend. Everything he did, he led from the front. He won his line outs. He went on a break up the middle. It was hilarious watching him, a second row leaving wingers for dead. But he went up, and I think a try came from that break. In the backs, Jake Patley at scrum half. Just having a seasoned experience from half, and no disrespect to Hugh Corkery and Kieran Sutton and others who filled in at scrum half this season. Having an experienced number 9 was a huge difference for us, and it took a lot of the decision making pressure off the 10 and off the other backs. That it just gave it gave us that little bit of extra experience on the field. So look, we're delighted now. We're going to face Wicklow in the relegation playoff, being going to be played in Carlow on the 20th of this month, as Tom informed me yesterday. And look, we have 2 chances out of that. The first chance being beat Wicklow and we're home and hosed, we're safe. That's in our hands. The other option then is lose to Wicklow and hope that Bective go senior, and that automatically means that we stay in division. That's not a route we want to go. It's out of our hands. We can't control that. So I suppose the objective is now is to go into the playoffs and beat them. But in the shorter term, all roads lead to Edenderry next Sunday in the Cup. Not known quantity for us, but they had a good win against Kildare over the weekend, and I think a win that most people would say was hugely unexpected. Kildare being a Division 1B team who I suppose had a reasonable enough season. They've worked hard this season, so it was a surprise to see Edenderry beat Kildare. But that's Towns Cup, and that's clubs like Edenderry who have a strong tradition in the Towns Cup, may never have won it, but have a strong tradition of causing upsets. They created an upset for us once upon a time where I think they beat us 3-0 in a cup match. A first cup match, Towns Cup game up there one weekend where nobody gave them a chance going up, but we came back with our tail between the legs. So that's Edenderry away in the cup for us this Sunday. We'd hope to have a few players back again from injury. We'd hope to have Aidan MacDonald back in the trenches, who was absent last week, and Conor Dempsey at loosehead, who back in the trenches again this coming week for Ashbourne, or for Edenderry. He missed the Ashbourne game. And the truth be told, we probably came under a little bit of pressure on the tight side in the scrum against Ashbourne. So the return, or on the loose side, so the return of Conor Dempsey will be very, very important for us this weekend. Our seconds had a good win against Corrigan in a friendly. So good for the seconds to get a run out. And one of the real important things was the quantity of players that were called out, but also the quantity of ex-youth players that came back last weekend to play. So Matthew McWee was back there playing and had a good game. Also we had one of the Mullins from Ballahale, I think it was Paddy Mullen, was back in as well. So look, if we can just pick up players like that to get back in, who are good underage players, and get back involved with the seconds, I believe that our seconds can have a good run at the Towns Cup and try and build momentum for next year. Our women's team had a very, very strong away win to Navan, so that puts them in a strong and try and build momentum for next year. Our women's team had a very, very strong away win to Navan, so that puts them in a strong position in the league now. 2 weeks ago had a strong win against Navan, so they're in a very strong position in the league. Albeit they do need results to go in their favour. They are playing Swords this Saturday in Kilkenny, I think at 12 kick-off. So that's a big game for the women's team, who I suppose have regrouped massively, and they deserve incredible kudos, because they were looking for players this time last year to get out and involved. Now they're competing to win a league with Navan, needing results to go in their favour. We'd hope that Navan that Tullow might create an upset against Navan in the league during the week, but they didn't. Navan had a convincing win, so now it's really down to the last game of the season for us at home this Saturday to Swords to get a win, and then hope that Navan slip up, and if they slip up, we win the league. Excuse me, there's a local passing by here now speaking that who doesn't understand Carlow Kilkenny Rugby. Well done to Carlow Tullow on hard fought out wins in the cup last week. I was up at the Carlow game. If that's one way to win a cup, that's the best way to win a cup match, is to try in the last play of the game. In fairness to Carlow, I thought they were down and out. Longford were a good side. Their pack were causing awful havoc for Carlow. But Carlow didn't give up and got back and scored a try. And I said it here last week that in the Tullow New Ross game, that people needed to give New Ross a lot more credit for the team that they are. They won a league, they've gone a season relatively unbeaten. I knew that Tullow were going to give New Ross were going to give Tullow a serious rattle in New Ross last Sunday, and by all accounts they did, and Tullow had to work very, very hard to get that win. But it just goes to show the progress that New Ross are making, and let's not forget that they've produced some incredible players, New Ross, over the years, players that they've struggled to hold on to. Some of the best players I've played with were New Ross men, so I think New Ross will be a club that we're going to see some progress from over the next couple of years, and it'll be good for the Southeast to see them back in play. And finally, want to pass congratulations to Emer Dunn for receiving the KCLR Scoreline.ie Sports Personality Star of the Month. her performances for our women's team. It's a good accolade for anybody to receive. And on behalf of the club, we'd just like to congratulate her and thank KCLR and David Bogan Motors for sponsoring the award, and it's great to see that happen. So on that front, we'll wrap it up from Kilkenny Rugby Club for this week, and hopefully next week we'll be all in the draw for the next round of the Towns Cup. Looking forward to quarter-final draws, hopefully at home, and best of luck to Tullow and Carlow in the next rounds as well. And thanks very much. Chat soon, lads. Bye bye.
There you have it. That's James Blanchfield live from Sweden, no doubt. And I'm just going to correct him there as well. It's Emer Kelly that won the award, not Emer Dunn. Emer Kelly for the Kilkenny Women's Rugby Club. So congratulations to her. Tom, some compliments there, of course. And James, we'll talk quickly about Kilkenny. It's out of their hands for the moment, but they did the job they needed to do last week.
Yeah, a massive game for them. I was really delighted, for the result that they got. It's no more than they deserve. I mean, Kilkenny have been battling away all season. If you listen to James's podcast, James is talking on our podcast since the start of the season. They've really struggled with injuries and illnesses, and never really had the team, a full team together at any stage. So, look, it's great to see the lads coming back in and getting that win that they absolutely deserved. We kind of felt that, going to Kilkenny, it'll be a tough ask for Ashbourne, because, I mean, it's hard enough going to Kilkenny on a good day, but when they're fighting for relegation, I wouldn't like to be going there anyway, and that's for sure. Yeah, but no, I'm delighted for them. Really, really great, sound result. As I say, they're playing Wicklow in Carlow on the 20th, so I'll have to wish them well there. And that just has been our kind of local side with the three of us. But I know the Wicklow president fairly well too, so I have to be very nice to both sides.
That's it. We're very diplomatic, Tom.
Yeah, it's been diplomatic. You'll laugh at that one anyway.
Absolutely. So Kilkenny of Edenderry in the Towns Cup. So that's a bit of a tough one, a bit of a conundrum for them.
Yeah, I think that's a tough one for them. But I can't look. Being honest, no offense to Edenderry, I think Edenderry are going to be a tough side. They will give them a bit of a rattle, all right. But I think Kilkenny's just strength and depth in their panel at the moment. Especially getting those players back, I can't. As a betting man on that one, I would definitely put Kilkenny as coming out on top. I think Kildare underestimated them, which you cannot do to any side in the cup. And Edenderry got a great win and knocked out a bigger team there. So everyone has to be careful in the cup. It's cup is a different, total different kettle of fish than a league match. It's you have only one chance, and if you're not prepared on the day, or you're not focused in on what you have to do, from the first whistle to the final whistle, you can get some strange results.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yes, that's Kilkenny there anyway. So they have a break before that game against Wicklow, and of course at the Towns Cup, so they don't really have a break at all. The women equally, as James alluded to there as well, they're playing Swords in the top of the table decider as well. So they're flying it in Division 5. They've only really got back going this year, and he was talking, I remember last year, Tom, James, about just Kilkenny struggling, the ladies team numbers and all that, and then they got it together, and here they are. So fair play to them.
No, absolutely. It's great to see them going, and I'll have to wish our own Kiva Owens a good wish with them, because Kiva went down. As I said, we don't have ladies at the moment, which is a pity, but she joined up with Kilkenny there, and seemingly is having a great season with them. So again, I'd like to wish the Kilkenny ladies the best of luck in that match.
Absolutely. I think we forget there's local players that, travel around to the local clubs as well, and across the board and that. So that's it. So we move on from Kilkenny and yourselves, Longford. He's had them at home. But by Jesus, Tom, you left it to the last minute to get that one. That was another defibrillator job for Carlow Rugby Club.
Yeah, well, as anyone who watches this podcast on YouTube, said my hair is getting whiter by the day. I reckon definitely. I said earlier in the season I'm going to be Santy by Christmas. I don't think I'll last to Christmas at this stage, But yeah, a nail biter. Look, it was everything we expected in the cup. Superb Longford team. It was 1-1. You know, we lost to them up there. We beat them the last time down here. But as I said, like, I wouldn't look at the result the last day because they had a couple of kind of mistakes. As I said, like knocking the ball over the line and things like that. But this time they were different kettle of fish. We got off to a great start. We got a line out, then scrum, and then my own young fella Dan went over for a try in the first couple of minutes, which they converted. So it was 7-0 after a couple of minutes. But Longford then came back into the game. Played well, worked down the pitch, and after on about 15 minutes there, number 8, Byrne, superb player. He's for a big man. He's lovely soft hands. You know, when he's passing the ball, good movement. He's a cute number. He was playing really cute number 8 all day. He broke through. He got the try under the post. So 7-7. We fought back the 22nd minute. Then their centre got through a well-worked move. They got another try, so it was 12-7. Then, you know, they had a penalty, 15-7. So at this stage, they're going, Jesus, like, this is not turning out to be a good day. I have to say, their Leinster prop was around for years. P.O. Byrne, he caused havoc in around the loose and made a couple of mad breaks down the pitch. It just burst through, and for a guy of his size, very deceptive pace. But then we got back, you know, got back into the game after 35 minutes. Then we worked to move, and Sam Cullen, in the second half, Sam Cullen went in the corner, and that made it 14-15. Then they got another penalty, and it was 18-14. And the last into injury time, we went down. We had got a penalty. We kicked to the left hand corner. We went up for a maul. The maul kind of fell down, so we had to hit the ball up a couple of times, moved it across the pitch. And at this stage, we were going, all right, that's it. Like, you know, we're waiting for a knock on or waiting. But in fairness to the boys, it was after having so many handling errors in the game earlier on, they got the ball across to the far side of the pitch, and lo and behold, we got another penalty. Kicked that into the corner, won the line out, worked it back around, and a little bit of quick hands, and we ended up going in the corner and won the game in the red. So, you know, scored a try, and that's it. Game over.
You won it. But that's the main thing.
Yeah, look, we weren't, to be honest. Pack again weren't on 100%. Weren't really firing 100%. Still, we gave away a lot of penalties, which has kind of been a trait all year. Which we have to cut that out. The lads know themselves. But I have to say, Colin Slater had a great game. A hooker, his darts were just superb, throwing the ball in, and you know, to get both those lineouts in the dying seconds of the game, like to get both lineouts perfectly straight in, you know, I have to say hats off to him. He did really, really well. Young Alan Owens at out half did well. It's starting to come into his own. Probably had one or two little indecisive moves, but that's just down to experience and down to his confidence. But each game he's growing into the game. You know, he's growing in. But our backs, if the forwards and backs can gel and the forwards get good ball, quick ball to the backs, I think we need to take less out of it in the pack and let our backs do a little bit more work, because like if you think of it, both tries this week were from attack plays in the back. So, and that seems to be a lot. If you look at a lot of the tries we scored this season, have been through attack play in the backs. But look, the lads they've had a good training session there on Tuesday night. They'll have one training session tomorrow evening, and Then we're off to Navan, and which is an unknown quantity for us. But you're never going to meet a bad Navan team. They're always very accurate. I haven't seen them, so I can't say what size they are. Normally, Navan, they aren't the biggest team in the world, but they're phenomenal at the ball and the ground. Their pack. They've always been very accurate on what they do. So we're expecting probably a younger side. It's their J1 side. So it'll probably be kind of a younger side. But then again, look, we don't know. That's the problem when you're playing a senior team like Navan. That it's kind of an unknown quantity because you don't get to play them during the year. But hopefully we've got some sort of video or something just to have a look to see. They had a good win at the weekend too. It is. I say, look. All I'm going to say is that if anyone listening to the podcast, we're going to need as much support up to Navan at the weekend as possible. But it is going to be another bloody cup match 2 weeks in a row is tough go, but that's what the lads want. I actually think spoke to a good few of them, and they preferred to get stuck in this week and then get a break, just to kind of keep the momentum going. And they know, look, we know ourselves where our inaccuracies are and where our strengths are. We just need to, and the lads, I'm sure, we'll work on that. I'm looking forward to this. Cup is cup, as I say.
Exactly,
Provincial Towns Cup is the best tournament in the country. I don't care what anyone says. It's still shining competition. Just to see all the crowd that came out at the weekend for both sides, like travel from down from Longford and all the crowd that came out from Carlow. There's people they haven't seen in years, and they just came out. Towns Cup still has that draw.
It does.
But and a second's got to walk. A second's got to walk over there from Byrne, which is very unfortunate. But because we would have preferred to have the momentum, because they're not playing for another 2 weeks now, and we're playing Enniscorthy, which again are going to be tough because like this. I know it's their third team, but they're flying. I was down at a thing one night down in Enniscorthy, and I was just watching their panel training, the first and seconds, and they're flying, absolutely flying down there. So they're doing so much work in Enniscorthy with the development of their senior team, and I think they're getting promoted this year as well. So fair dues to them. But Byrne I think Byrne are fighting for relegation this weekend. They have a playoff against someone this weekend, I think, to stay up in their division. So I can understand probably why they pulled out.
Yeah, absolutely. Tullow then, Tom, we'll talk about that in the absence of Johnny Tobin, but just about getting out of New Ross with a win there, 33-30, and you said it at the start, and I think James said it there as well. New Ross were always going to be a bit tricky. They've just been promoted, but you can't go down there and just expect because you're a 1B team that you're going to come out of it handily enough to put up some battle.
They did. I watched it like yourself, Stephen. I watched a bit of the match that was recorded on the live stream, and Tullow definitely were up against it. New Ross, Jesus, really threw everything at them. Their pack were very good. They stopped Tullow, but Tullow backs attacking. They stopped their attack play and kind of held them back. But look, they came out in the end, and I saw Jack Hanlon was back from Clontarf, came back on the wing and scored the winning try for them. Like we know Jack from years from playing against Tullow underage, and Jack's a fine player, so. He was the little bit of difference off the bench, I'd say, more than anything else. So look, but like ourselves, Tullow got through. They've a tough one this weekend, Dundalk at home. But if I'm a gambling man again, I'll put my money on Tullow. Reason being is I think Dundalk are on their way back down. They also have a 2.5 hour journey down to Tullow. So I can't see them being exactly. Maybe they will be motivated, but I think after a relegation like that, and then to come down and fight to try and to travel that far down. I don't see their motivation really. So maybe I'll be wrong, but I'll take that gamble on put my money on Tullow this weekend.
Yeah, Johnny would be delighted. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
it's a case of striking while the iron is hot sort of thing for Tullow. Well, taking advantage of that, of that misfortune for Dundalk as well. So
well, they'll have a big crowd there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like ourselves. The Black Gates will be full there on Sunday, so I wouldn't like to be going to the Black Gates on Sunday. So I don't think any team does.
And the Six Nations on Saturday as well, which is good. So it avoids all that as well. Just a quick word about Tullow Rugby. We were talking last week about Dara, or a young lady from Tullow called up to the Irish women's training squad. But this week, Tullow Rugby's Katie Corrigan has been called up to a 35-player training squad for the Under-18 Women's Six Nations Festival. It's an inaugural thing as well. So she was announced on that. Just the news came through there yesterday evening. So congratulations to Katie. So that's 2 players out of Tullow getting called up for Ireland duty as well, so fair play.
Absolutely,
well.
Yeah, that tournament. It's great to see that tournament happening because it's for girls rugby. They didn't really have, you got as far as the southeast, and then you kind of, you play your round robins, whatever, in the southeast, and then you go on and hopefully make 18s to play the interprovincials, but they don't have anything to strive for. Whereas the boys always had, the school boys internationals and all that promotion there. So it's good to see that the girls now have an international competition to aim for underage. And as I say, there's not a system there for there's no girls' school system there yet. So the clubs, it's great to see the clubs leading the way this time round and fighting and having a girls team for an under-18s international tournament, which is a huge step forward for Irish female rugby and Irish women's rugby needs that. We need to be more competitive underage. We need to be more competitive moving up along the line. I think it's absolutely fantastic to see, and well done to the young Corrigan girl for making it up.
Yeah, absolutely. And I got the other girl's name wrong there. It was bad as James Blanchfield. It's Dana O'Brien was
Dana O'Brien. Yeah, another fantastic player.
Yeah. And just some other news before we move on to the Six Nations. Kilkenny College beaten by St. Mary's in the, I think it's the quarterfinals of the school's senior cup as well. A good old match. Kilkenny actually had the lead at half time with dirty conditions on Wednesday as well, up in Donnybrook, but they came out on the wrong side of it in the end. Mary's pushed on and got it.
I thought they could have won. I think they needed an extra score. They needed a try in the first half on top of what they had. That wind was fairly strong, Stephen, if you looked at it down the pitch.
Oh, it was brutal.
Of course, there's always that dilemma with 6 minutes to go. Kilkenny had a penalty, which brought it back to 1 point if they got a penalty, which meant if they had scored a try, they'd be ahead by 1. That dilemma with 6 minutes to go, do I kick to the corner or do I kick the penalty? They went for the penalty. I don't know if that, to me, look, it's only my opinion.
In a storm.
I don't think I would have kicked that penalty. I think I would have just gone for broke and said, look, lads, we have nothing to lose. We have to, you're nothing to lose here. One way or the other, you have to get the points. You have to win. So you have to get the points to win. And 3 points wasn't enough to win. I think trying to kick, if you went to the corner, right, you might not have scored, but you might have scored. There's a big push to score. 1 try, they were leading, and then to turn around, kick a penalty, and then have to try and get back down against the gale force wind. I don't know. It's a tough decision, but look, we can't. Hindsight is a great thing, and it's all right for us to say, give our opinions, but the lads on the field, they had that decision. And I have to say, Stephen Smith there, he's an ex-Carlow player. He was the number 8. Had a great game, and I would say Stephen comes to all the senior matches at home. He's a great support of the club, and just want to give our commiseration to Stephen. Look, he'll have plenty. I think that chap will have a bright future going forward.
Absolutely. It was like Ireland-France all over again, Tom. Do we go to the corner, do we go to the post? Huh?
Yeah.
Speaking of which, we're going to have a look at the team for this week. So a couple of changes there. Tom will start in the front row. So Cian Healy is obviously in for the injured Andrew Porter. Dan Sheehan is in the covering an injury, obviously, as well. So that's two out of the front row. Out of starting the team that would have started, of course, against Wales, gone. But you've got good quality covering experience with Cian. Dan Sheehan is flying it, so he is since he got his opportunity. Tyke Furlong in there as well, which is grand. Tyke Byrne and James Ryan as expected. Change in there, number 6, Peter O'Mahony's been on the bench up to now, so he starts at 6. Josh Van der Fleer is at 7, Caelan Doris at 8. Cover on the bench is Jack Conan. Jameson Gibson Park and Johnny Sexton resumed their halfback partnership. James Lowe is in at 11, and there's no sign of the man that was holding that position, Mac Hansen, up till now. Mac must be injured. I haven't seen any bulletins to say either way this afternoon, but sometimes the IRFU release that information later on in the evening. Bundy Aki and Gary Ringrose are in the centre, Andrew Conway is on the right wing, and Hugo Keane is full back. So on the bench, there hooker covers Rob Herring, Dave Kilkine there for Loosehead, Finlay Bean, Tighthead, Ian Anderson, Jack Conan, Conor Murray, Joey Carberry, and Robbie Henshaw has to do with a place on the bench. Tom, what stands out for you from that team? Probably Peter O'Mahony is like Caelan could have went to 6 and maybe Jack Conan to 8.
I think Peter O'Mahony is brought in for a little bit of experience on the in at 6. I think that's just with the English pack. Just that little bit of extra experience in the forward pack, because you have impact to come off the bench with Jack Conan, and Ian Henderson coming in there too. You have, I think we really are going to miss Porter. I think his impact, his runs, his
around
ability,
the field.
Not only just his scrummaging. I mean, his scrummaging is good. Cian Healy's scrummaging is solid as be damned, like. But I think it's just his impact at the moment, and he was playing so well, around the park that I think he's a massive loss. I know if Killer Kilkine coming on, Kilkine won't let you down, but I just think at the moment Porter was just different class at the moment, really was. But look, he's gone. We have to live with that. I think the pack is solid enough.
Yeah,
they'll have to work it out. English pack is a big pack, and they'll have to deal with Mario Itoje. So I think Keelan Doris will have a bit of fun with that.
Yeah,
but it's very athletic. I think the backs. Yeah, I don't know what the hell happened, Matt Hansen. That's a big. I am presuming there's an injury because it's a big call to leave him off.
It is, absolutely. Like, in fairness, he got a golden opportunity there as well with James Lowe being out, and he did pretty well. But yeah, I don't know. I just while we're talking, Tom, I'm just going to scroll through here to see is there any sort of bulletin to say he's injured, and I can't see anything.
Yeah.
I can't see anything to say otherwise. So he's just dropped by the look of it. Yeah, it is tough. Like, I've no issue with James Lowe in there. James a bit sort of, well, especially with the boot.
Well, that's why I can understand. I can understand that. I probably James Lowe was going to get the call. I felt he might get the call over Hansen in the fact of his just that exit the chance of the exit that he gives you, the extra person to exit the ball with that massive left boot of his. I think it's going to be so important to keep the ball out, keep the ball away from our 22. And if that's the case, that whereas Matt has to run, doesn't have that kicking ability, whereas now we have, we'll have two in the backfield, a right and a left footer. So you have a big left boot and a right boot, so it'll give you that bit more of an option in the backfield. Robbie Henshaw's, I mean, you know that he's on the bench, but Robbie didn't have a great game against Italy.
No, I didn't. Very surprised. Very quiet.
Yeah, and
But,
they're kind of figuring out what if he comes in. If he goes in, like he'll come in. I mean, he's gone into the centre, but if the wings, like if a wing gets injured, I suppose he goes in the centre and Ringrose moves out. Because we only have we've
we're
3
light on
backs.
cover. Yeah, we're light on back 3 cover there.
Well, I suppose.
Robbie play full back though as well, wouldn't he?
And so is Carberry.
Yeah.
I mean, Joey's initial thing. Joey can play full back. Look, they have a fairly well covered. I thought Hanson would have got it, but I don't know why. What is the reason that he hasn't? But I mean, that's the best backline we have in my mind. It's the best backline that Ireland has at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've the best 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 and that we have, without a shadow of a doubt. And the pack is solid.
Might be a bit out of balance just with the changes, you know, but we'll wait and see as well.
Yeah, am I still? Jury's out on Philny Beale. I know he's got better each time, but he'd be really up against it. With an English pack, Ian Henderson's no problem. Jack Cohen's no problem. Conor Murray, Connor's guys, he's going to be still there. The fact that if it comes down, it's a tight game, and if we are leading coming into the end, he is a big defensive player.
So is he a game changer late on in the game, though?
I don't think he is. I think he's more of a defensive game changer. As in, if you're leading the game, I think he's such a cracking player to bring on at this stage. Look, he's not as sharp as he was, but he's defensively he's very good because his size alone, and he has a big boot. If he is, to clear out box kicks away, and but I don't see him as a game changer.
No, Craig Casey and Johnny Sexton, when they came on towards the end of the Italy game, you could see the difference just in ball service, everything. Just that little bit of speed towards the end of the game as well.
The only thing on that though, again, is I'd be very hesitant with Casey is the experience.
Yeah, absolutely, especially against England.
Yeah, definitely. I like it's a total different kettle of fish playing English, But look, I think we can give him a rattle if we play well. We could definitely give him a good rattle. Definitely.
What are you gonna give us a prediction score wise?
Oh, Jesus, don't do that to me.
Can we beat them realistically, Tom? I think we can.
I think we can.
Yeah, realistically.
But it's how you. I know it sounds silly and very simple. It's how you give them a rattle, really.
Mm-hmm.
If you get under their skin and get them making errors, I think that's what we can live off. Is their errors, but you're going to have to put them under serious pressure, and they're really going to have to close down Marcus Smith. If you take it's not as easy. I know it sounds simple, just take Marcus Smith out of it, but it is as simple as that. We have to close him down. He has to be. You can't give him the opportunity to do what he does best, and that's to cause havoc and find those gaps and find the dink through that he does. Like he's such a young and cocky player. Like, I mean, he's every coach's dream as an out half to have somebody who's like, I mean, Sexton is the same. He has that cockiness that'll take the ball right to the line, and a bit of arrogance, and that's what you do. Out halves do need that.
Yep,
no matter what, they all had it. Whether it was O'Gara, they all have that bit of. There's that bit of cockiness to do something, and I'm going to kick that ball into the corner. I'm going to pass that out the back. I'm going to find the gap. They just have that bit. And I think just Marcus Smith has to be closed down. I don't think you're going to keep him closed down, but you have to do your best as a defensive side. You have to. You're going. Back row will have to be wide awake to what he does, but if you can close him down, I think we have a really, really good chance of winning that game.
Yeah, looking forward to it, Tom. And of course, a big weekend of local action as well. Best of luck to all the teams out this weekend: Kilkenny, Carlow, Tullow. And of course, keep an eye on the Six Nations on Saturday as well. My thanks to Tom Crotty from Carlow Rugby Club, and James Blanchfield was on earlier from Kilkenny Rugby Club, all the way from Sweden, north of Sweden, where it's nice and cold. I hope he's enjoying himself.
I have one more little thing, Stephen. I have to say hello if he's watching, because I got given out. There's a reason I'm wearing jersey today, because I got given out to last a big hello to Melly in New Zealand, because I wore a Crusaders top last weekend and he was not impressed, and I got a text very quickly after the podcast was released, so I'll say hello to him now. I found the jersey eventually.
Hello to our viewers and listeners down in New Zealand and Australia. Thanks a million. Yeah, that's a good one, Tom. Nicely done there, balancing it out this week. We're going to wrap it up there. Thanks for listening. Of course, the podcast available on Spotify, Apple, and all those places that you get podcasts, and available to watch on YouTube. Tom, thanks a million. Talk to you next week.
Thanks, Stephen. See you now.